zoning, the saplings, as well as just how much damage it puts out. The other day, I believe it was in the RA series, even out damaging the Sivir on its side, which is how much you could put out. Obviously opens up for if you wanted to play even an AD mid lane champion to combo up alongside it. But EDG going to go with, I'd say, a pretty safe response, going immediately for that Sejuani to match, have a bit of a front line yourself. And I love that FoFo immediately having the confidence to just take away this Sylas pick from Dove.
It's interesting as well, though. You know, the Sylas away from Dove, but also to pair with that Sejuani will be interesting to talk about. On the other side, though, for IG, we did talk up the Fiora a little bit there, being a priority pick, but it was just hovers over the Jax. It was looking now at the bottom lane. The Varus that has been picking and showing itself up as well, when Arn and Wink in that 2v2 have been impressive so far.
Yeah, now for the side of IG, I wonder where they want to go with this one. They could wait, I think, on support and kind of see where EDG want to look with their bot lane options so far. You could just look to answer mid, but no. Wanting to get their hands on the Jax right away. YSKM feeling incredibly comfortable with whatever Allah decides to go up with against him.
We'll wait and see. At the very least, options now available, otherwise it gets banned away. But already, the interesting fact as I pause on that one, maybe it is going to be that pick up in the top side. Lyric, again, you talked about it, you brought it up. 13.1, folks, just keep that in the back of your mind. And against YSKM, who was the feature Fiora player coming out of the PCS region, Arla, who has had many memorable highlights on the pick, is going to lock it in, and now we have a fun skill match in the top side.
And I know I saw it on Twitter earlier. I'm sorry that I don't have the credit to give out to who tweeted it, but I saw that, like, both Ala and YSKM were practicing 1v1s of this matchup. I guess YSKM was actually practicing with Zeus, and Ala was practicing against Xiaosheng. So this should be something that both players are wanting to play. They're going to feel incredibly confident. You now have the double melee to set up with that Sejuani passive to try to set up for some very nice, easy ganks. And I think IG overall have just picked a bunch of the, some of the strongest meta champions available, especially looking at that Varus when, we have Lucian off the board, things like Yuumi gone to potentially not open up for as warranted of a Zeri pick to come out. Then IG's draft so far, I think, giving them a lot of avenues. But right now, we're going to see some of those bans coming out. The Heimer Dinger off the table. And when you have Heimer off the table, I feel like you can expect to see less of some of those marksmen to come out because a lot of them started showing their head as a good answer to Heimer, even if we have still seen them without it. Again, Carry Up picking, the Caitlyn up against, the Zeri and the Yuumi on the opposing side. And it also sets up for that we don't have to see things like Leona against Heimer, which haven't really worked out so far.
Yeah, that's true. Again, now that it's off the board, we can explore more options, as that's only one support. Remember that EDG still don't have their bottom lane. Leave and Meiko now not with the Zeri as well. Lyric, option into Varus here. What do you like? I mean, things like Ezreal playing. What else is on the board?
I think it's so tough because even things like Ezreal, which we actually haven't seen in the LPL just yet, we have seen it in other leagues. Even the Sivir, typically you do see it alongside the Yuumi. Yeah. Lulu is something that is still available, though, if they wanted to opt into that on 5th pick. And I love it. Immediately having the Draven come out. You would expect this has to go in the hands of Wink. I mean, Wink is... Actually, both are Draven players. Both Wink and On play Draven.
Dude, they literally... Arn came into the LPL with Wink as a support and started playing Draven from the get-go. So it's like he's being taught. And, you and I were sitting here being like, oh, well, we're not going to see AD carry bots now. Varus is something that also has been spreading like a bit of a plague in solo queue here and there, Lyric. So wouldn't be too surprised to see that through as, come on. This is not the meta we're in. This is not the League of Legends we're in. We don't need to go down this path, Lyric. We've already seen a Kalista support over in the LCK. It got the Baron steal. Is Meiko really feeling that saucy, or is he going to go down a traditional path?
I don't think so. I feel like Meiko's the guy who's going to keep it stock and standard. Right now, hovering the Karma, he's going to lock it in. He does. So, standard on their side. I am very interested to see what IG are doing on the opposing side. You would expect On to be the one picking up the Draven. I mean, at least Varus does bring utility in the form of things like his ultimate. Or, wait, are we going to get... I was wondering if we're going to get even saucier with things like the Azir maybe flexing down to bot lane and moving Varus somewhere else. You know what? We're going to wait and see. Looking at the side of IG, though, I mean, strong 5v5, able to come out. You'd expect them to play more of a 1-4 composition with the Fiora making her way over. You can play out through 3 lanes as well because you know Sylas is going to feel a lot more comfortable in a side lane than the Azir on opposing side. So I think it's one of those ones where you want to set up their bot lane for success. I feel like as the game pans out, it's going to be a lot more about playing as a unit for them. The 4-man core, you know, your 2 marksmen set up with the Azir, like sieging down turrets, getting on objectives, getting those ward lines set up to try to just whittle the opposing team down and play for team fights. And Wink is going to end up going the Hail of Blades route, which, you know, just is more common coming out, I think, in the support role now. Gives you a lot of potential for early game aggression in terms of those 2v2s.
Rain of Arrows as well after the 3 hits of Hail of Blades. Really good damage with the blight that comes through from Wink. So it'll be fun to see. Lyric, you know, I'm a bit of a troll, solo queue. I've been, excuse me, playing a bit of Caitlyn, a bit of Kennen support, Caitlyn support, already mentioned. A lot of AD carries, things that people might report me for. But I'm still here, you know? And at the end of the day, it's so much fun playing these lanes, so I'm kind of excited to see what happens in the 2v2. YSKM and Jiejie are just going to meet out for a bit. YSKM hasn't even gone to lane. He's starting Counter-Strike, and he's just bullying down the jungler. Jiejie's like, what are you doing? Has to flash. And you should know me again. What a chat.
Yeah, running it down to make sure that the patience on the red buff does end up timing out. And he's just spending so much time here. I mean, what's Jiejie even going to be able to do? YSKM's still having that TP for top lane if he does end up going for the recall. But he's still just hanging around here. And look at the lead that Gideon's going to be able to get in that top side. He's actually counter-jungling, stealing away the wolves from Jiejie right now.
I mean, that's going to be a big start. As you said, the counter-jungle enabling that bot side too, where the Varus and Draven are, for a potential fight with this Maokai Lyric, because YSKM does have to TP back up to the top side. What do you think here from the push from Arlo? Is that flash taken worth here for YSKM?
I think it's just going to be about what IG are able to do in terms of shutting out this jungle. It means we're going to see a lot less potency from those like 2v2s we talked about with the melee, you know, combos with the Sejuani in both mid and top. YSKM seems fine, accepting a bit of a deficit in that top lane. It's going to be a bit harder to go for any trades, but look, Gideon's still just clearing out Jiejie's jungle completely. He's going to be able to make his way down now, but he's not going to have any camps available to him. You're going to have push in mid lane on IG side with the fact that you have the Azir in the Sylas matchup. So if you can cover any counter jungling coming out from your own top side, it's really going to leave Jiejie just in a position where he's starving.
And again, he'll be spotted out on wards too, so they'll be able to track him further. Considering that EDG right now, the path outside of the Raptor camp in their own jungle, has a nice ward placed on it. You can see on your camera as well, with that ward placed by YSKM that now dissipates. It sees that Jiejie is still topside. Gideon clears away bot, goes back to his own jungle here. And right now, great start for IG. Even a small gold lead Lyric with the CS advantage in jungle, in mid because of it. And of course, bot with the pressure that we've seen in the 2v2.
And I think what this means is Jiejie's going to have to give a lot to playing around Ala and enabling this top side, getting some vision down. If you are going to give ganks over, it feels like it's going to be more beneficial for him rather than other lanes, since he's the one to not only find the, you know, the CS lead, but having this experience in the top side to allow for better trades to come through is Dove. So far just having his way with FoFo, which is what you would expect early on in this lane. He's going to have to go for the reset, has the TP to be able to get back here just fine.
Again, on a scaling mid laner, we saw him on the Cassidy really take over in IG RNG game number 1. This is second series now, as we'll be checking in with him. But for now, Gideon and Jiejie are going to be battling it out. The steal for the blue buff contention here, where this is going to be triple buff Lyric if Gideon can take it away, which it looks like the answer is a solid yes.
Especially since the bounce back is happening on top wave right now, so YSKM would be able to join in this fight very easily. We've seen Dove able to keep up that pressure in mid, so yeah, the opportunities for Jiejie to go for that one just aren't really there. But Jiejie still looks like he's going to be able to find the opportunity to get both Scuttle Traps.
Again, big start here, at least for Jiejie. Getting the balance of both Scuttles means that he gets some of the gold back in his pocket, but it's Lucidity Boots straight away for Gideon. Always feels good with the saplings, with the Bramble Smash pick on pretty much no stake of a cooldown. Now heading back towards the bottom side. Lyric the wave in bot as well. It looks like we're freezing this one out a little bit, slowly pushing back in IG's favor. But what options do you see here for Gideon on this Maokai who has such a lead?
I don't think there should be too much around bots since this wave is stacking up and it's going to push it in. I'm curious to see how much Weave and Meiko opt to thinning it out in trying to, you know, keep the lane state in a neutral position. But it actually might be EDG, the ones on the front foot, with FoFo making his way down, and Jiejie might have an opportunity available after he finishes off the scrum.
Then what happens with Gideon, though? That Scuttle secure. He's going to see Gideon now. Sapling with the control ward as well. Gideon's starting off the dragon, or at least trying to bait it for the time being. And just get some attention near the area. Lyric, you talked a little bit about the, you know, the 1-3-1, the 1-4-1 of EDG. As Gideon continues to do this dragon, I mean, again, we also mentioned early game and how important it was. Dragon stacking here at 5 minutes 50 feels like a really good start for IG.
IG definitely going to be happy, right? Getting early dragons, giving time over to Azir and YSKM, just keep doing what they're doing, using this early Azir prio, because they're the team in my mind that is going to be more about playing as a unit later on, right? You have things like the maokai. You have a lot of range to play with against a lot of low range and melee champions on the opposing side. Is Meiko, forced to flash and heal immediately.
Lyric, that's double summoners out of Meiko. You're right. Leave as well. Lucky he has TP, but just like his namesake, he's got to leave the lane.
Huge for the side of IG. Now it's getting here as well. They should be able to zone Meiko away from the turret, but with TP, Leave will be able to get back here just fine, so I'm not sure if this will equal out into any turret plates. With Gideon going back, it doesn't seem like it should, but IG are going to be happy with this. It's going to set them up for potential return ganks to be able to play off these missing summoners. We know we're inching closer to, you know, contests coming out around Herald, where both bot lanes opted into moving over. Now with Meiko not having that flash, we'll just make it a city dub.
Well, good warding for the time being around mid, though. Helps Dove spot out Jiejie as Gideon's now nearby, but that piece of nature that comes at level 6, that's not yet available. Gideon should be a little bit closer than Jiejie, as that Scuttle Crab will be closer to setting him up. And so now I just wonder, as you said, the Herald coming up in about 30 seconds to set up is going to be pretty good here with all those ultimates having been available. And I'm wondering about Arn and Wink there as well, Lyric, because it's pretty close to an Eclipse start here for Arn already. All it takes is one cash in, and that item advantage is going to be huge here in the first 10 minutes. As round 2, speaking of, we get more aggression from Gideon.
And look at where Wink is. Wink's already here. You see Meiko still making his way through mid. We might get a bit of a skirmish.
Still not level 6. Jiejie can just go over the wall. There's the grand challenge issued over to Winky. Flashes. The hail of arrows doesn't slow down Jiejie. In fact, speeds him up. It feels like it's Meiko's here too. Jumping in YSKM. Uses stuff who gets first blood. The flash! You should know me! Well, we'll at least remember his dead body. Now for EDG, stuck in a 2v2 with the Nature's Wrath finally coming up. And the tree beard launches again. It's the attack on Isengard with the double kill for Gideon. And now more for Meiko. Dove has to run as now the poke comes through. The passive sapling bramble smash. maokai just busted, isn't he? As we get IG launching on all fronts.
EDG were feeling confident. It looked like the members of IG were a little bit split up and disconnected, which is why they wanted to go for that fight. But IG able to turn it around. Sadly, health bars did get low enough to where they aren't able to instantly turn that into a Herald. We're going to see here how it all started. YSKM still up in top side, so EDG wanted to go for it, knowing they have the pinch from Meiko coming through the bot side. Early flashes forced out. But here we see, I think, really nice ult from Dove to kind of split up the fight. And then the stun and the flash coming out from YSKM to be able to even up this fight. Since Gideon still hadn't used the ult, it allows them to follow up and finish off Jiejie as well. Now we're going to come back with, again, since IG did end up getting low, it allowed for EDG to make a play on the map. They died first. They're coming out first. They're able to start making this play for Herald, and it looks like Invictus Gaming are just going to have to accept.
And Lyric in the ultimate value as well. EDG now having the Glacial Prison. It looks like respect is given by IG in that regard too. So even though IG come out with the kills in the play, Herald does eventually go to EDG the second time round. We have to look at where they put it because, Lyric, you've said the jungle using the melee values in mid, in top. You know, options that for EDG they would have had the game not be so widely skewed by the start from Gideon. I want to ask you if that remains true, if we're just going to expect the Herald coming to these solo lanes, or if things change because of the game state. See on the screen.
I feel like you should still be looking at Ala as the one that EDG are looking and hoping to set up. I mean, if he can get strong and win on that 1v1 matchup against YSKM, it's gonna give them a lot of options to play around. Because once we start getting to the point where IG are looking to group up, siege down some of these turrets with things like the Varus, the Draven, and the Azir.
Oh my god.
Ala gonna be able to get out just fine. I think a lot of the heavy lifting is gonna have to come down to FoFo and like finding crazy flanks to be able to get on these, you know, low mobility members of IG.
And again, you know, people like the Varus support, you know, even the Draven as well, right? That low mobility for IG is very obvious. I take a second though, because top lane is just a beatdown. Ala had to back here without a teleport. Lyric, it's that Counter-Strike timing that YSKM has now just shifted the lane into 500, no, 600 gold now from that third plate, all because of smart intellectual play that puts him into a lead into a lane he came late into.
This is why IG just felt so comfortable going for the blind pick of the Jackson and not caring about the Fiora matchup or anything coming out. YSKM has brought a bit of a storm to the LPL in my mind. Just honestly, maybe the most exciting new player coming in this split. Even getting the other players to, if you see like their streams talking about how they want to bring him down a peg.
Oh yeah. But that's the fun of it. I mean, again, he's confident and he was in a team. If anyone doesn't know, Frank Esports, if I can get a moment, this guy, again, was blind picking Fiora, was playing all these crazy picks and was so aggressive. And that's why he fits in here, as Arn might have to show that in 1v2, but against Leave, one spell shield, but still the aggression to go forward. That ulti now burnt down, as in response, Meiko uses a heal, but it's also because IG were now in the bottom lane, getting their second dragon at 12 minutes into the game.
And you can see EDG were hoping for a way to funnel into this fight. FoFo was angling, Jiejie was making his way around, but the fact that On was able to just like single-handedly force away EDG's bot lane, it leaves no avenues in, and they're winning on the bot side of the map. YSKM's getting so much value by himself. It just feels like so far IG are winning absolutely everywhere on the map. CS advantage in all three lanes. We saw what happened to Jiejie earlier in the game from YSKM shenanigans. And yeah, IG are just winning everywhere, Hysterics.
Yeah, it's good thing to see. Again, bottom lane 2v2 has been really solid. And
what
the
is
fact
this IG?
That, dude, this IG came out of nowhere. Like, Dove was brought over from the LCK. I talked to Chronicler, and Chronicler said, oh, he's a meddling mid laner. Is now even the 2v2 again. We said the bot is just insane. Leave getting poked out, but luckily the spell shield was there. But a flash has to be burned yet again. IG in their own individual right just have an 8-pack flourishing all game long.
Look at the minimap though. It looks like we might have a skirmish up in topside as Herald does come out. Gideon's going in.
Guess what? Both may steal the ultimate, but Gideon's is outburst. The flash comes in, but it's a bit late. His grand challenge is there. Jiejie on a slither of health at the burn. Enough. YSKM picks up a kill, is flying through the skies. It's Team Rocket. It's actually just Gideon on a maokai. Presses W non-stop, 303. And a skillful opening into this EDG series once again for Invictus Gaming.
I mean, Gideon, a player who spent, you know, the past 2 years in the KT Rolster organization, comes over to the LPL, joins this squad, again, that on paper had kept their weakest links, and just such a weird mismatch of players coming in, and they're making it work. Beautiful play in this top side to come through. EDG wanted to use his Herald before it times out. We knew it would go down for the Fiora, but Gideon comes in. Doesn't matter if FoFo starts to lock them down, because maokai root already comes out onto Jiejie, and here we're going to see YSKM follow up with the flash into the jump. And sadly for all of the flash, a little bit too late. The twisted advance had already started from Gideon, so he does get locked down, and another kill goes over.
And Lyric, they've been playing around their window so well. On IG's note, they all had their first item in that fight, and so they felt confident to take it on. Now, EDG are able to match in most regards, apart from the bottom lane. But 303, 201, a second item brewing now for Arn, who's got so many stacks built up. What happens here? Lyric, IG, how do they continue pushing this limit and making EDG uncomfortable in their own jungle?
I think what IG are doing now is really smart. Player on the bottom half of the map, YSKM's winning out in the 1v1, so if you can pull pressure down the bot, you're winning there as well. Zone them off turret like they're doing here. and just allow these guys to get this turret down. You can then start moving your bot lane over to mid, help Azir bully out Sylas even more, break down the mid lane turret. Because YSKM, I mean, look at how much success he's having in this matchup.
He's already got out the riposte, and you know that he's about to leap on. Arla was the top lane king at some point. Remember that this guy was the one you should remember. But YSKM, the level 11 Jax, now has to get out of there. Arla can turn this around as it's a low mana bar. It's no Grandmaster, and it's no way home, it feels like, with FoFo chasing after him. There's an ulti to steal as well. The bell dings, Counter-Strike there. Great dodge, fancy feet! Jumps back in on top of Arla, trying to bop him. You gotta give him respect for almost making his way home.
Still, he bought so much time. Other members of IG are here, and EDG are going to get collapsed on.
It's a nature's grasp once again. Arla gets rooted up and slam dunked. On takes him, gets the cash in, and now for another, it's Dove 2. That was across the map, by the way, from the Draven. As IG, I mean, they're rooting up for a Game 1 win against EDG. This is just a bonkers start to the split.
And look at everything available on the map. They're going to be able to get top lane turret. Herald's being started right now. You have On pushing in waves in the mid lane. They're going to very easily be able to break down top lane turret here. They're going to get Herald. They're going to be able to pivot to mid. And then Dragon's coming up in 50 seconds. Whether they want to wait to use Herald for that time and just guarantee themselves soul point, they'd probably be able to break down mid lane turret in that push as well. EDG just have no way of stopping IG with the rampage they've been on.
It's nuts, isn't it? We'll look at this again, Lyric, because as he said, YSKM bought so much time.
Yeah, and you can already see so many summoners. All of the ults are down from these three members. IG were so patient waiting in that rush. Like you said, On's ultimate coming from across the map, and that money,
That's
baby.
money.
1,200 gold. Ooh.
Oh, man. He wants to go on holiday. He's buying his shout. Pina coladas in the pool, man, because On just bought an Essence Reaver and a Zeal outright. That's what I'm talking about. At least the Sheen already there, but you guys catch the point. That this Draven now gets his one cash in, is now so damn relevant. And Lyric, with that cash in on top, a 6,000 gold lead brewed out of nowhere that IG, as we're talking about, could be comfortable to take the third dragon, make this a, 22, 23 minute soul, and just continue to force EDG in the corner. We haven't really been able to say much in this early game.
No, you can see pings already coming out from IG towards that mid lane turret, knowing that that's the last one they have to break down. Dub, I'm actually surprised he's going to TP in to just reinforce this push even further. I guess not having information that the members of EDG were basing, when you look at their words of river, you wouldn't be able to know. Because IG, not going to look for two turrets off of this, or maybe they will. Nope.
Shove. The value's still there, though. They get the shove into the inner turret in mid, but opening up the map even further. Lyric side lanes. Let's come back to that, because it is important to note that Dragon's not up for another 4 minutes or so. That Baron is coming up in 2 minutes, but we won't look at that yet. I want to ask you about side lane threat and how IG can play through this, because it was definitely the forte of EDG at the start that we're talking with how strong they can play the 1-3-1 or the 1-4.
Right, I mean, typically it'd be all about the Fiora playing with the Sejuani. You would have Sylas on the opposite side, who should be more comfortable in a side lane than in Azir, but I just feel like with how ahead the members of IG have gotten, the same opportunities aren't there, especially for FoFo. You can see he's nowhere near strong enough to really look to push out this wave or put any threat by himself. Even in that bot side matchup, we've seen YSKM can win out in the 1v1, and Gideon doing a nice job of covering around when Ala is aggressively pushing, because they know if Ala has that confidence that Jiejie must be waiting in the room. So for now, for EDG, it feels like it's a bit of a waiting game. You're hoping to stall out a little bit, but with the fact that IG are on 3 Drakes, what are you even really stalling for?
True. So just be happy, I guess, as the Chemtech considered one of the weakest. YSKM now going to be flashing away. Dodges away from the Glacial Prison set up by Jiejie. And that's one ulti down. IG now converging on the location, but EDG are going to get away. Just taking away the summoner from the Jack for what it's worth.
So at least gonna get something off that play. Resets are gonna have to come out now. Okay, Ala will be able to get away just fine. And now it's gonna be a lot about watching IG and how they put pressure on the top side of the map. They want to break down this mid lane turret. It's already about half HP, and if you can try and pivot that up to a push is okay. Our observers panned back to mid so quickly. I thought a pick was gonna come through. Just got a little bit baited.
Yeah. Yeah, they're excited, man. They've been watching IG so far in this game. They're like, oh, who knows what's going to happen next? It's a flashback for me, Lyric, because when I first started casting in the LPL, this is what old IG felt like. You know, it felt like Jackie Love and Baolan was very much the same. You know, the Shy in the top lane, Mini the Shy YSKM, right? He trained in IG young. We have Dove, who's a pretty solid player and has shown some really great laning mechanics. I'm not going to compare it to Rookie. Rookie's a lot better.
If you're if you're saying this is like 2018 IG,
2018,
are you gonna predict a Worlds win? No?
Oh yeah, dude. What now? You think you don't think it's too early?
Come on,
that's true. Yeah, screw it. Yeah, IG are gonna be 3rd seed at Worlds, or maybe they'll do the LCK thing, 4th seed, and they win it all. No one expects it. Do like the DRX. That would be sick.
That would be quite nice. You know, EDG now have trying to pick off both side laners at the same time. Our observers actually panned away from top while you were talking about that. They went for a play on Dove, not able to get it. Same thing here. EDG. Where are the options? Where are the options, Hysterics?
Well, maybe a pick off here. Never mind, YSKM. He's got the Spidey sense. And you know what? The Avengers are coming. The boys? No, maybe not this time. Maybe it was like Eternals. A little bit of a rubbish move, but we're not really getting, you know, that Avengers Endgame story in just yet. At the very least, you know, IG still trying to make a move.
I haven't seen it.
Haven't you? You know what? You're not missing out. That was just the worst. Oh my God.
Was it really?
It just sucked. And Angelina Jolie was it. And she's great. I think she's great in everything. But that movie, oh man, that was just so poorly written.
But was she great in that, despite it being an apparently not good movie?
I think she's a great actress, yeah, so definitely. But I'll be honest with you, I will not be seeing the Eternals ever again. Bit of a disappointment, but hey, look, IG are not the Eternals, man. I should never bring it up. IG are like the first time you watch the Avengers, you hear the music, they're standing around the cars, and even the Hulk's been tamed, dude. Like, I guess the Hulk in this analogy is YSKM. Because he's a force to be reckoned with, but he's your force. As IG now gearing up the Soul Lyric, 5 seconds to see if they pull the switch as the poke comes through with the Soul and ulti. Cat's going everywhere, but Gideon jumps into the fray. Onto FoFo, the change of corruption, fantastic here from Wing. FoFo gets poked down and the damage just hurts. Flashes burn left, right, and center as YSKM makes an appearance. The music can be heard from the corner of your screen. An IG with a better health bar, more taken out of Dove. Only just missing the ulti thanks to the flash out from Arla. Just ensure that they have the Soul Order themselves.
Yeah, this is going to be Soul. You just got flashed out from Arla and Meiko. I feel like a lot of that was down to Wing hitting that Shades of Corruption and being able to chunk out FoFo. EDG now going to try and trade, you know, what just happened for vision towards the top half of the map. Doesn't look like they're going to be able to get too much. Is IG, they're able to have YSKM take Dragon solo and have their other forces already moving up.
This could get a little bit sticky. IG still thinking about it as turret plating does go down. Rather, turret objective, excuse me. Gets more gold back to EDG, but now facing down a Soul. And this game has been anything but great. Azan sees FoFo in his eyes, tries to get a ward down. I guess nothing going to happen here. Waiting for the Abscond of Dark. He wants to not flash out of there. As maybe you have to flash. Was it too late? Well, Nature's Grasp says yes. The Whirling Death just leads the Dragon and FoFo. I mean, Lyric, that's a bit of a whoopsie.
Yeah, getting caught out. I mean, easy the team tried to over-aggress for that top lane turret as YSKM now.
Friend challenge, and he's down. Arla, he's back, baby. At least in the Fiora getting something here as Jiejie flashes in. Is it too early? No! Jiejie brings it back, and EDG ain't out of this one just yet.
Oh, I can't wait to see a replay on that one. The Baron HP, it looked high enough to where that wasn't able to go through. It looked like the turn from the IG members was going solely onto that Sejuani. But we're going to get to see YSKM getting picked off first.
Oh,
I mean,
no.
going for a bit of a greedy recall. Doesn't have mana, HP already low, and he's picked off by all in the side lane. But I want to see the Baron. We can see it now. Still being whittled down on about 1,900. The turn comes through, but enough damage able to come out. Smite goes through. That's huge. I mean, still soul for IG. They're 5k gold up, but this is going to buy time. It's going to give, you know, waves that IG are going to have to answer and at least give more time for, like, Ala, Leave, these members who are still scaling up to quite strong threats to get items under their belt.
And you have an Enchanter. That's the other big thing, Lyric. An Enchanter on any team is always good news when the game goes 30+ minutes. The value that Meiko's going to add, as you said, Leave is scaling up almost towards that third item. Second item picked up with Ravenous for Arla. Now, IG is still in control of this game. 5,000 is their gold lead, as the soul you mentioned. But the biggest thing is that time is just dangerous.
Just look at On's items. Like, that's huge for EDG, but On right now is still a 4-item Draven. Strongest man on the map by far with the amount of cash-ins he was able to get on this Draven pick. So IG have been angling to look for team fights, just haven't exactly been able to find too many. EDG have done a pretty nice job of respecting, and it seems like they're going to keep doing it. Just keep having Ala be this member to try to pull the members of IG apart. As you can see him now, walk from mid straight up towards top lane, and is going to try and angle for this tier 2 turret.
Might actually be able to get a YSKM not back in time. A lot of damage from Ala at this point in the game. Camera pans over, and there you go. The Fiora able to pick this up. Objective bounty was actually taken down a bit ago as well as Jiejie flies the ulti through. Unfortunately not able to get a target, but Ala has gotten what he came for. Lyric, the only question is, does he get out for it? His Nature's Grasp doesn't connect, but hang on a minute. There's Gideon. Bramble Smash disconnected. The flash though with the Counter-Strike. Another punch down, and YSKM takes down Ala. Nothing else on the map, but at least stops that push from continuing.
We need to see them convert this into something, though. They at least are keeping up pressure in mid, but it looks like they're going to go for the recalls coming out now. So, I mean, they get some nice gold into their pocket, but you just gave over YSKM Slash for that pick. That isn't going to turn into too much. Neutral objectives are going to come up, and, like, I mean, Baron's coming up right now. I don't know if IG will have time to look for that with all his TP timing coming up relatively soon. I mean, his TP's up. He will respond relatively soon.
Yep.
And Dragon's still so far away. Oh, I lied. That was not Baron coming up in 9 seconds. That was Baron timing out in 9 seconds.
And I was confused as well because they're both purple. So
the icon isn't any different.
It's a little. The wings are like tucked in. It's like his ears are. Yeah, no, you're right though. It's confusing to see. At the very least, top left is Elder, guys. Top right is Baron. Okay, more eyes, less, I guess, regalness to it as well. It's more of a threat. Where Elder Dragon is apparently pretty friendly. Minute 30 till that comes up, and good sir, the only thing I need to ask you as Gideon just goes in for a cheeky steal. Is this a good thing for EDG? Because considering we're talking about those items coming through like Navori Quick Blade that are being picked up for Leave, I wanted to know if this is maybe fightable and maybe an early Elder could have been okay for EDG to maybe contest.
I mean, we were at a 6k gold lead at like 17, 18 minutes into the game. So the fact that gold lead still hasn't changed, hasn't grown, IG haven't been able to snowball this game, you know, 10 minutes later, I think is a pretty nice sign for EDG. And you can see how much of a nuisance that Ala has been able to be since this game has continued to go on. But I mean, it's all going to come down to this next fight for Elder. IG have done a great job of just making sure that they keep control of this area. I want to see how important it's going to be that YSKM used his flash to find that pick that wasn't able to turn into anything on that side lane from Ala. Because that could be a difference of, hey, if he had that flash and he could get onto a member like Leave or Ala in this fight, could be something that he regrets.
Because while we're talking about summoners, just note that Jiejie's flash that we used before is coming up soon as well as Ala. To dodge away. Gideon uses the Nature's Grasp way back towards the direction he came. That ulti's not going to be available for about another 35, 40 seconds, Lyric. And Elder's coming up in 10 seconds. Let's see if it coincides as EDG try to walk in that general direction. As that's a flash burn. Straight away from Meiko. Wink burning his own with the Chains of Corruption. Summoner for summoner.
Yeah, so they're going to be able to get that from Meiko once again. Going to be very hard for him to walk forward. But the nice thing for Meiko, right, is that it's the other members of EDG. It's FoFo, it's Jiejie, all of the ones who theoretically want to be running into this. TP's coming out.
I think
it's just gone.
Jiejie? No, not there in time. It's just heated. And now with that, IG have all the fighting power they could want.
I mean, IG is going to be able to put so much threat on this Baron. Now going to come up in 20 seconds, and like the lies that I spread 3 minutes ago.
That was just free. Absolutely free lyric. And I don't know, man. Like, I've gotten free stuff from Mackie D's. I've gotten free stuff from, you know, Bunnings as well in the past, but nothing really feels as good as that, especially when IG, we talk about their power. I want to note that Arn is now full build apart from his boots. He still has not upgraded his boots. 5 items strong here with the Infinity Edge just picked up, but only has a couple of cloth bags around his feet for the time being.
And EDG can't even contest this. We saw, not only did they get that Baron, they also got FoFo's TP out of that play. YSKM still has his, they're going to be able to guarantee this one. Now you would just hope to see the push coming through. I mean, they have great siege potential with the Azir. Varus arrow is going to be pelted at them as well. EDG have a semblance of wave clear since they do have that Sivir available. But IG just going to be putting up so much threat. Looks like they also want to get YSKM pushing in that side wave and be able to put pressure up on 2 fronts.
We've got top wave again building up as mentioned. We've got bot, as you said, with YSKM coming through as well. And Gideon's just been playing so well in between, Lyric. I think this game, you know, Gideon, it was through early game. It was through the jungle invades we saw, the triple buff. Gideon has just been on point. Again, telling us that IG, their names might not be as great as everyone else's, but they're stepping up huge. As Nature's Grass intertwines here, trying to get leaves. Narrowly avoided as Arn doesn't take that much damage. But remember, this team still has Elder for another 35 seconds. If EDG go in for this fight, they could lose game 1 right here and there as the poke from Wing sends Meiko backwards. Gideon now ready to go in. Arla has to back away. Leave has to run for his life, because this full build Draven is going to one-shot as IG are not giving stop for EDG to play the game. They're going to take the Elder execute. They're going to take the fight now. Invictus Gaming, they may be nameless, but even against EDG, this team has come out unexpectedly godlike. Triple kill over to the Draven. YSKM sets up the 4th. Take the Quadra, take the Pride. IG are a different beast this split.
It's just so great to see. Honestly, maybe the most fun team to watch in the LPL right now. You know, found a huge early lead, did stall out a little bit in the mid game, but they still never gave over the reins. They always did a 6K gold lead, even when they ended up losing out the Baron from an incredible steal. Like let's give props to Jiejie for being able to pull that one off. It still never mattered. IG were always in the driver's seat, and it was a team effort. Right, we saw YSKM from minute 1 bullying out Jiejie on the opposite side. It was able to get Gideon such a lead with the coordination of him invading the enemy jungle. We see IG's bot lane just winning out from picking this strong duo of the Draven Varus coming through. And then Dove had some good ultimates and fights, but I think overall was just doing his job, playing Azir into Sylas, keeping him pushed in for a majority of that early to early mid game. And FoFo was never able to join up and fight. So overall, I think strong cohesion coming out from IG, and EDG never even got a chance to play.
Again, it's not even just through the draft. It's that cohesion, that word you used. It feels so precise with their movements through early mid game. Like IG having a game plan. That's something we didn't talk about last summer, where the old IG were kind of all over the place. They played some early games okay, a bit 50-50. But then Lyric got into the mid game, and I think them, like a lot of the bottom tier teams, just didn't know how to, I guess, push an advantage, you know, bring a game back. Like, this team is a bit more precise in that matter, and it shows that their off-season work has come in surprisingly well.
And I think it's also just hard for EDG to be able to come back into this game. You could see that they had like a solid understanding of how they do it, which is pretty much make this Fiora be a nuisance in the side lane. But it's like, how do you ever get close with like Jiejie or FoFo? We're talking about FoFo needing to be in a position to where you can potentially find flank, steal away a maokai ultimate, throw that in, and try and get on the back line onto someone like on Jiejie playing in front of Leave and Meiko enabling him. There just weren't those opportunities there with how far they fell behind. But IG just didn't give them the chance. And I love kind of now panning out and being able to look back, right, and having the benefit of hindsight, the 5 bot lane bans coming out from IG, just setting up for this Draven Varus special to come out.
Dude, I just can't believe the Varus, you know, worked well. Like, sure, we saw laning phase be a little bit stagnant, but Wink was hitting some of those ultis. The poke in the mid to late game was quite significant as well. And all in all, you just have a bottom lane that, again, is doing really well in the 2v2s. As you said, mid was really solid. Gideon gets my MVP. There's no way that Gideon doesn't get MVP here, Lyric. Like, that is daylight robbery if this Maokai doesn't get MVP for the way he played in the early game.
He played great. Maokai right now as a champion just feels like he does such an insane amount of damage, you know, no matter like how you're building right now and just the utility that you're providing. Just great. Overall, this IG team is just continuing to surprise me. And I mean, if they could close this out with a convincing 2-0,
no way.
I mean, where do we start to like see the heights of IG? Is it like you said, it's a winning world?
They go to Worlds, man. They go to MSI.
It's like, week 3. You've already called it. I love it.
Holy crap! It's not even a. The thing is though, these are harder teams. Whether EDG, RNG maybe haven't got it together, but these are still meant to be teams in the top 8, the top 10 for playoffs. I don't know. As you said, IG do need to close it out. That's only game number 1, so we'll go to our break and then see